What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Rise podcast. Today is a very exciting episode 205, with our friend and round 12 mastermind grad, Madison Tremblay, who is a social media manager here in Northern California. And 9 weeks ago, because we were 3 weeks out of the mastermind being done, 9 weeks ago, she was an employee at a job, had no business, and over the 6-week mastermind that she had joined, she actually built a 6-figure business in just 6 weeks, which is crazy.
And not just like a foundation. Like she actually was running at $10,000 a month in contracted work at the end of the 6-week mastermind. And she's even increased that more, which you're going to hear about in this episode.
Yeah, she's doing $13,000 a month right now in retainers as a social media manager. So here's the thing I want to say. If you are a social media manager, this episode is going to be perfect for you. If you are not a social media manager, you are a photographer, you're a filmmaker, maybe you're a web developer, you're a designer, this episode is also going to be perfect for you because there's so much in here about quitting your job, learning how to work really hard, learning about what you should be putting your hard work on,
pricing strategy,
some of the do's and don'ts of getting started. And I think some of the things that she's done in the really, really early stages of her business, people are still making the same mistakes years into their careers. I know I made some of those years into my career myself. So this episode is going to be really impactful for you no matter what niche of creative business you are in. We are so glad you're here today. If you're new to the show, this podcast solely exists to help you get paid to do what you love. And our thesis on that is that your creative needs to be there, obviously, but once your creative is subpar to everybody else, it's really important you focus on business strategy. So this entire podcast and really the greater Creative Rise brand focuses on helping creatives learn business so they can actually run one. So we're glad you're here today. We're going to be talking all about Madison's story. It's a crazy story, but Madison was around 12 graduate, which was awesome. It just wrapped up a couple weeks ago, and today's an exciting day because for the first time ever, we are talking about round 13 dates for 2025, which is going to be amazing. Why don't you quickly talk about what the mastermind is and then drop the dates?
Yeah, so the mastermind is for people who want to build a 6-figure foundation. Whether you're already doing 6 figures in your business or you're just getting started, it is a 6-week incubator of everyone coming in and going, hey, how do we build our business and how do we grow this in a sustainable way, but also in a fast way, which is exactly what Madison did. It's for anybody that's in this service-based creative field, so photographers, filmmakers, whether you're in the brand space, the wedding space, if you're a social media manager, this is for you. It is a 6-week process where we give you the coaching, community, and accountability to be able to grow your business. And so, again, we just ran our round 12. The results were amazing. We got a couple podcast episodes about what they made in just 6 weeks. It's super, super inspiring. We had a bunch of people that were having major FOMO during round 12 being like, I didn't jump in then. And so round 13 is coming. The dates for round 13, applications open to the public March 2nd, okay? So put that in your calendar.
It's an exciting
March
day. Get it in the calendar.
2nd is when applications open to the public, and the mastermind starts March 16th. Now, if you want to get in, we've got a ton of people on the wait list, people joining the wait list every single day. If you want in at a spot, at claiming one of the spots, you got to make sure you get on the wait list. It's totally free. It just gets you early access to the application. You get some money off. You get access to bonus courses. It's super sick. So jump on the wait list and you'll get early access. So before March 2nd, you'll get access.
There's no reason why you shouldn't be on the wait list.
Very true.
It's a totally free wait list where you're just going to get more information. And most importantly, you will get first access, which is awesome. So anyways, guys, we cannot wait for round 13 coming up in March. It's going to be incredible. But here's our episode with Madison Tremblay and her incredible, crazy story of growth, building a 6-figure business in just 6 weeks. Here she is.
Hey, Madison. Thank you so much for being here on the Creative Rise podcast. How's it going today?
Welcome to our kitchen table.
I know, it's great. It's a great kitchen table.
You've sat here a bunch of times. In full transparency, Madison is our friend.
Yes.
I've known Madison for, it feels like a million years, but she is new to the Creative Rise world, and we are so excited to interview her. So thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the show. Yeah. So Madison, you, right before we record, said you've listened to how many of these episodes?
Every single one that you ever come out with.
You know how this goes.
So supportive. So supportive.
Kicking off a rapid fire. So very simple. Where are you from?
From Northern California, right here. This is my hometown.
Yes, she drove here like 4 minutes away, which is awesome. And what is your creative business?
Yeah, I'm a social media strategist and content planner, so it's been super fun, run people's socials. It's great.
I love it. And then how long have you been doing this for?
Since September 1st, so just a couple months under my belt, but it's been great.
Yes.
How many weeks is that? Because you did the 6-week mastermind starting September
Yeah,
1st.
September.
Was that the first?
Yeah.
Something
so it's
Something
been
like that. And then
8 weeks.
yeah, it's probably like 9 weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
A 9-week-old business.
A
It's
9-week
still a
old
baby.
business. It's a little baby.
Yeah,
but
it
it's
is.
but it's not little.
It is not little.
What's real quick, like how did you get into that? Because people are like, wait, you've only been doing this for 9 weeks. They probably saw the title, which we'll talk about in a second. What was the like very short, we'll get into the bigger story, the very short transition from where you were 9 weeks ago to where you are now?
Yeah, 9 weeks ago, I was talking to my husband saying I really wanted to do a creative business. I've wanted to for years since I've listened to your podcast. And he was like, you just need to figure it out and do it. You've been talking and talking about it, just figure it out. So I was working until midnight almost every night, figuring it out and making my business happen.
I love it. We're going to dig into your story more. Our rapid fires never go that rapid, to be honest. This always happens. Okay, you have a 8-week-old business. Have you had a flop? This is our signature rapid fire question. What's a flop that you've had in your business, whether it's like an embarrassing moment or something just went terribly wrong? Let's humanize Madison for a second because we're about to hype you up. What's a flop you've had?
Yeah, a flop. So my first client, who I'm very thankful for, I had no idea how to do pricing. So I gave him a $900 deal that now I have someone with the same plan, same package at $3,000. So it was pretty tough. I was like, looking back, probably should have upped the price. I'm doing a lot of work for him, but it's okay. I've learned pricing.
That's a very relatable flop for so many people.
We all have that. And I remember when
Yes.
we first started talking to you, when you first joined the mastermind and you started your business literally like that week, you were like, oh my gosh, I already got a client. And we were like, we should probably talk about pricing because like you're gonna go out and get a ton of clients because of what you were doing and who you are. And I was like, oh, the pricing thing is the thing that we all run into right off the bat. It's like, I cannot believe I sold that for that price.
And that is
but you have to learn that way.
Yes.
You have to learn that way.
And it's a flop, but honestly, it's less of a flop than just doing it for free, which is probably what I did and what Joey did at the very beginning, where you just do things for free for forever. And then, but you started charging right away, which is actually a really big win. So, okay, let's dive into your story a little bit more.
Yeah.
So 8 weeks ago, very beginning of the mastermind, did you have a job at the time, or were you just kind of like, oh, I'm starting my business?
Can we start like where she's at right now, and then we'll go back real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
So tell us, where are you right now? Where is your business at? You are 9 weeks into your business, and what are you doing per month right now?
Yeah, I'm making $13,000 per month, which is great.
And that's like contracted retainer work.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
not just like,
all
I had a
retainer.
$13,000 month and it was crazy and I don't know how to repeat it. That's like every month, that's what you got coming in.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
Super
How does
cool.
that feel?
So great. There's so much freedom in like running your own business, having freedom in financials. I can scale up, I can scale down. So it's been such a blessing. Like truly, it's been super cool.
Were you surprised? Like, I'm like, you didn't have a business 8 weeks ago. Like, you were doing a full-time job. You have 9 to 5, if not maybe after 5.
Yep.
You were working super hard, and now you have completely pivoted and you have this $13,000 a month business. Is that like surprising to you? Or were you like, no, I knew that I was going to do this. Like, this was planned.
Oh no, so surprising. I have videos on my phone of the day I started and multiple times since then of me crying saying, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is so cool. Yeah, it's seriously life-changing and shocking all at the same time.
It's a big shift to go from an employee to a business owner, and it's a even bigger shift to go from an employee making not $13,000 a month,
Not even close.
to making $13,000 a month. Like, talk to us a little bit about that. Like, how does that feel? Because often the pursuit of doing our own businesses are a couple things. We want choice with our location. We want choice with when we work, where we work. We want choice with who we work for. We want, location freedom. And a lot of people also become entrepreneurs because they want financial freedom, right? Which is a very triggering, financial freedom. But like, you are actually experiencing the fruits of building a business, and you are getting more freedom with your finances because talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I was making, full transparency, like $4,000 a month at my full-time job, 9 to 5, weekends too, like constant conversations with my employees there and et cetera. But it's been so cool. Me and my husband are now able to like save in different ways. Now we're looking on buying a house, and it just changed completely our financial like outlook on life and how we're doing things. So it's been like so freeing, like truly. And I wake up a lot happier.
That's awesome.
And you had a good job before, right? Your job was good. And that's a description of like a very normal job for a lot of people our age, right? Yet you have chosen now a different path, and you've tripled your income every month, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Over tripled it, which is a beautiful thing. So
I feel like a lot of people get stuck in the 9 to 5 because it's comfortable. Something usually like, I don't know, there's like a tipping point of like, I really want this in my life. And so it causes people to get uncomfortable in their current spot in order to be able to achieve. And it sounds like for you, it's like, oh, I wanted freedom. Like, would that be like your main thing? Like, I wanted to build this because I wanted more freedom.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do a creative business like this for 5+ years. And I was stuck in the comfortability of knowing how much I was going to make, when I was going to get paid. And it was just more comfortable. And then once me and my husband, we were sitting down and I was crying because I was like, this is not what I want my future to look like. I don't want to be stuck at someone else's
business.
Or job, I don't want them telling me everything what to do and when I can go and when I can stay. So I was crying and he's like, you just need to pull the trigger and get it done. I was like, okay, it's going to be really hard, but I will do it. And he was super supportive the whole time. But once I got home, I was working on my business until even like 2 a.m. And one night he was at a men's night and he got home pretty late and I fell asleep with my laptop on my lap in bed because I like could not keep my eyes open anymore. But I needed to do it. It was part of the grind. And I was looking for that freedom that I saw people have around me.
Well, first of all, we love supportive husbands. So
shout out to Tyler. Such an awesome guy. We love you, Ty.
Second of all, you mentioned how you would come home from your 9 to 5 and you would do what people often say is the 5 to 9, right? You'd then work from 5 o'clock till 9. But in this case, you were working really, really late. Why did you do that? A lot of people would be like, that's too much. And that's what keeps them in their comfortability is they're not willing to make that like 5 to 9 or 5 to 10 or 5 to 2 sacrifice that you made in order to start something outside of your actual W-2 employee job. Why did you do that? And where did you find the motivation to do that? Was it kind of that tipping point? You were like, I just want it bad enough. Was that what it was? Was it something else?
Yeah. Honestly, I just wanted it that bad. And then another thing, being in the Creative Rise Mastermind, I would see these wins coming in every single day. And I was like, that is what I want. I want to be able to ring the bell, so to speak. And so that was motivating. I did not want to stay up till 2 a.m. sometimes. We'd have small group, we'd have dinners, and I'd still go home and work, even though I was exhausted. But wanting to get there, I was just so driven to reach a certain goal. And once I hit that, I made another one and another one and another one. So just pure motivation and excitement. After getting a couple wins already under my belt, I was like, okay, I want to chase this.
Yeah. I love that, Madison, because I think the way it normally goes for people is they have a 9 to 5, but they have this dream and they keep it as a little mini side hustle. It's like, oh, I throw some energy towards it when I feel like I have a free weekend or maybe a free night or something like that. But I love that you were like, no, I want to fast track this. And I think that is what really, that motivation of I want to do this quickly is really what got you to where you are now. And I think that, yes, it was really hard work, and it still is hard work, of course, but you could tell the amount of effort and energy you were really putting into it. And also knowing that was a season, right? That grind season of working 2 full-time jobs was a season. And it's not something that you're designing your life to live like that all the time. You're not working from, 8 to 2 every single day now, but for a season, that's what it took, which is
for sure.
So what would be your advice to somebody who's maybe in the same spot as you? We're going to dig into your business, all the ins and outs, all the good stuff like that. But when it comes to motivation, what would be your advice to somebody who's maybe stuck in a comfortable job, but they do have this dream? What would you tell somebody?
Yeah, I would tell them to write out all of their goals and what they need to achieve those goals, and then make time to do it. Whether it's taking a weekend and saying, okay, I need to get X, Y, and Z to make sure this goal happens, just do it. It's worth it. You can hang out with your friends another time. You can sleep another day. Just try to get those goals done, and then just set another one and set another one. I feel like setting goals was huge for where I came from to where I am now. So that's what I would say.
That's awesome.
I was going to say 2 things I've already heard this episode. Set clear goals and then make a plan. You talked about that. And then you also talked about getting around people that are going to encourage you on your way, because those 2 a.m. nights are discouraging when it feels like I'm up so late again. I'm still
by
not
myself.
done.
I'm the only
I'm
one
by myself.
doing this.
I got to wake up at 6 o'clock to go to work or whatever it is, right? So get a plan, get some goals, and then get around people. I love that. Okay, so you're making $13,000 a month right now. You're 9 weeks into running your social media management business. You're a digital strategist. It's a beautiful job that or career you've really created for yourself.
Yeah.
Let's actually get into some of the nitty gritty of this business. So what does it actually look like? Define what your day-to-day looks like. How do you actually help people? For people that are listening that are photographers, filmmakers, or web developers, or even they're social managers, but they're like, what is Madison maybe doing differently? Because I'm not making $13,000 a month.
Yeah.
What do you actually do? How does it help people?
Yeah, so I collect content, I create the content and post for people's social medias for them. Social media is a huge selling factor right now. More than 78% of people check someone's social media before they either purchase or hire them or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And so I make sure I gather quality content, post it for them with like the correct keywords, great caption. I do profile optimization. So I'm just making sure their social media is something that someone would want to click on, continue following them, and like really stop the scroll and get involved in what they're preaching. So for instance, I work with a real estate agent. So making sure I'm posting things that are shareable content where people are interested in the homes that she's selling, making sure she's a community expert in her area because that's what people want to see. So yeah, trying to make all of their social medias look really clean to ultimately have their goal of selling.
Yeah. So what's so cool about the world of social media management right now is that there's kind of a couple different problems. There's the problem of, they're either not on social at all and you can help them get on social. There's then the problem of they're on social, but their content sucks, which means you can help their content get better. Then there's a third problem, which is they're on social, their content is great, but it's hard to keep up.
Yep.
Or they're really busy, right? So what's cool about being a social media manager is you get to actually help clients with so many different problems that your base for potential clients, when you look around local businesses or anything, there's a lot of people that would be like qualified clients for you to help, right? Because you can solve problems in those three ways. So how did you first go about planning who you wanted to work for? When you first started the business, let's go all the way back, and then we'll probably do some catch up now because it's probably a little bit different now than it was back then. But how did you get your first job, and what did that actually look like?
Yeah, first job was really random. It was one of my dad's friends that reached out because he heard through the grapevine I was starting it. And at the time, I was doing any industry. I didn't even care. I just wanted to have some money coming in. So yeah, honestly, the first couple came to me through my dad, so referrals, which was great. But then I really started talking to other people about the importance of social media and talking about more of the value instead of selling myself. And I found that that's where almost 99% of my clients now, that's where they came from. So talking about how business owners don't have time to post on social media. They're figuring all the other things out. So being empathetic and showing value in what I was doing instead of just selling myself of saying, hire me, because that's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So I feel like, just sharing about the importance of it, people were coming in interested and wanting to ask questions and turned them into clients, which is great.
I think there's so much value in what you just said in that you stop selling yourself and you start selling the value you are providing. You're selling a solution to somebody, which is what you've done so well because you're super fun, you're really outgoing, you're really smart. So you could sell yourself as like the main thing of your business. However, that tends to sometimes when people sell like that, it tends to be like low ticket. It tends to be like, oh, well, what's my personal value? Because then it becomes about, oh, how many years have you been doing this? How many accounts have you run? Blah, 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 blah. And you had just started, but you made it about the problem they're facing, the value they need, and then the solutions they're going to get, which I think you've done really, really well. And I think that's a big encouragement to a lot of people out there who are like, I'm just starting. I don't have a huge portfolio of clients. I don't have a huge long list of social accounts that I've managed, but you have been able to talk about the problem and have been able to build a business from that, which is super cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things you've done so much better than a lot of creatives is you've taken your own skill set that you're trying to get clients to hire you for, and you've done it for yourself, right? So your social media, day one of you starting your business, you turned on like all cylinders and you're like, I'm going to post a ton.
Yeah.
How did you come up with a strategy to do that? Talk about what your posting schedules look like. Because you obviously just said a lot of your clientele has come from people seeing you online talking about social media.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have? Do you have 100,000 followers? Do you get millions of views?
No,
Right?
no.
Okay, so talk about how the social strategy works, because a lot of people think that you need
Yeah.
a ton of followers for social to even get you clients, or you need videos to go viral.
Totally.
Talk about it.
Yeah, so I just started a brand new Instagram for my business. And so I started from zero. I think I have probably like 200 followers, which really doesn't seem that much. I get maybe 500 views on all my reels, but I'm tailoring it towards the people I want to see my videos. So a lot of my clients are, from social media. They're business owners. They're relating to my content. And again, I'm providing educational content. Then they realize, social media is a little bit harder than I thought. I should probably hire someone else. So I'm tailoring it towards the people I want. And then they're interested, and it's been great.
Yeah. And the truth is, you only, like, out of those 500 people that see each reel, if you had one person every single reel you post, which is how many times a week?
Yeah, I post 4 times a week, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's working. You've got a $13,000 business per month because of it. So you only need one person a month really to see your content and go, I want to hire Madison, out of the couple thousand people that probably see your content over the span of the month, right? Which is an amazing thing. So you said educational content. Talk to me about what that actually looks like. We talk about that a lot in the mastermind, is learning how to pull value out of yourself and out of your own skill set and then display it on socials, or learn how to communicate it to the world so that people see you as value and they want to hire you for it. So what are some of the things that you as a social media manager talk about that's educational and that's valuable? And what's your encouragement for other people to find that within themselves and come up with a strategy to do that themselves?
Yeah, totally. Well, in the Creative Rise, y'all talked about, posting value. And so I found that what works really well for me and the clients that I'm getting is posting statistics about why social media is really helpful. Awesome. And then also the updates with Instagram. Instagram is constantly changing, and that's really the number one platform. And so posting updates of, they added this, they took away this, use this strategy instead, since it is always changing. So posting updates about it like every month or so is helpful, so people know how to use Instagram well.
Yeah, that's awesome. We love following you, Madison, because you're just always on there. And I feel like you also have blended it well with like a sense of authority of like, you're talking about, all of the stuff you just talked about, the stats, the value, why people need social, why they need help with their social, all of that kind of stuff. But I feel like you've also blended it with a mix of like personal stuff in your stories. Talk about that a little bit, of how you blend the personal side of you with also the value side of what your business does. And how has that been helpful for you?
Yeah, great question. I think it's important to have the identity content pillars, which again, you guys taught me in Creative Rise. People aren't going to hire you unless they feel like they know, like, and trust you. Again, something you guys say all the time. So adding things like, this is what I'm doing in my day. This is what my day looks like. Just showing people what my day-to-day looks like makes people want to, like, they feel like they know me. They feel like they trust me. So incorporating my sourdough making, which I do every week.
I love that content. I am here for it.
And stuff like that makes people think like, oh, she's human. I can actually talk to her. She's relatable. I want to hire someone like that.
Yeah, that's so good.
It's so smart. So building in value-based content onto your platforms, and then also building in this personal stuff that we would call personal identity pillars. Pick a couple, pick 1, 2, or 3 of them. Things about your life that you think are somewhat engaging to other people want to engage with, and build it into your content, which is important. So, okay, let's actually get into the nitty gritty of your business. So $13,000 per month. I'm sure you're working with a couple clients. The beautiful thing about social media management is you don't actually need that many clients per year to build a great business, right? So $13,000 a month, that is just shy of $150,000 a year, which is amazing. And how many clients are you currently working with?
Yeah, I have 6 clients right now, and then I have 4 calls next week.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully I land at least 1, so maybe 7.
Amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
And talk about, what are your packages looking like? Because there's probably a lot of people listening. They're like, I really want to start a business like this, but like, I have no idea. What do you even offer? Like, how does pricing even work with that? Like, I thought 900 was way too much, or way too much for what I wanted to charge. Talk about what you're doing, and if you feel comfortable sharing the pricing along with that of what you're doing right now.
Yeah, totally. So I have 2 basic packages. One includes where I'm gathering the content for them, or they can send it to me. So that package is around $22.50, or $27.50, depending on how often they want me to post. So that's really what the price is based off of. My typical packages are posting 3 to 4 times a week on 2 platforms of their choosing, whatever social platforms they want. And then, of course, there's community engagement, there's profile optimization, there's, of course, posting on stories and on the feed, commenting back to people. And then I have, at the end of 30 days, monthly analytic call, and then a strategy call where we can move forward and see what went well and what we need to change to grow. Yeah.
It's amazing. So every client you sign on, roughly right now, you said is between $2,250 and $2,750. So call it $2,500.
Yeah.
If you were to even them all out. So,
Yeah.
which is cool because $2,500 times 12. Do you know what the math is on that? What is that?
I don't.
$2,500 times 12.
I'm not a quick math person.
Me either.
That's 30 grand. So every client you sign up that stays with you for a year,
Yeah.
which is probably pretty likely, is 30 grand, which is incredible. So you start thinking about, okay, if I want a $150,000 business, if I want a $200,000 business, like how many clients do I need?
Yeah.
And social media can scale. Social media management can scale really, really quickly because it's a recurring offer, right?
Yeah.
You do the work, you post on social, you get on the sales calls, you do what you need to do to close a client, and then you no longer have to go out and fight for that client. They're paying you every month, right? Which is a really, really cool model, and that is called a retainer model, as you're very aware of. We talk about that a lot in Creative Rise, inside of the mastermind and just the podcast and a lot of our other content, and how important retainers are, which is amazing. So how did you land on your pricing? Because you went, here's actually the question. How did you go from $900 to averaging 2,500? I know you've had, I think you have one that's over $3,000 too, right? So how do you go from $900 to getting packages that are like $3,000 a month for social media management?
Yeah, I think I've learned to value myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Again, when we had the pricing week in Creative Rise, the mastermind class, I was like, oh dear, I'm charging not enough for all the work I'm doing. Because if you actually narrow down how long you're working for, it's a lot more than you would think.
Yeah.
So yeah, just learning to like value myself a little bit more, and realizing that 900 is just not enough. So I've slowly increased my prices. So really every client I've like slowly incremented higher rates,
of course,
obviously.
Yeah, smart.
And then any add-ons, I make sure that they're good. I'll text you guys. I'm like, what do you think this should be? Which has been good. But getting feedback from other people has been good, because I remember thinking $900 was a ton a month for what I was doing. And now it's like $3,000. So
that's amazing. And was it helpful to also have other people? Like, I know in the mastermind, it was like, you're sitting there and you think $900 is so much money, but then someone scores a $5,000 deal and you're like, wait, if they can do that, I can do that.
Yeah.
Like, did you experience any of that in the mastermind?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. When I got to see all those bells ringing of how much they were making, I was like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I need to up my prices. I've had 4 different calls with 4 different people in the mastermind who were doing similar jobs as what I'm doing. And they were charging a lot more. I was like, okay, I need to up prices. Clearly, I'm too low, and you don't want to do that.
No.
Wanting to be in the middle range for sure is where I am right now.
That's awesome.
And you're also probably thinking, when you're thinking pricing, like, what is actually really valuable for my clients too, right? Because you're not trying to price yourself out of the market. And so a part of pricing is like, what do I need for myself? And then the other part of it's like, what is the actual value I'm giving my clients worth, right? Yeah. Am I giving them 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of monetary value every month that I'm actually charging them? And hopefully the answer is yes, right? And if so, it's probably going to be a long-term, really healthy relationship, which is cool.
Yeah.
So talk to me about like, how are you actually managing all this? Because I think a lot of people would hear this and go, that's a lot. You've got 6 clients. You're 9 weeks in, 8-9 weeks in.
Yeah.
How are you managing all of this stuff? Are you using certain platforms online to do all this content management? Talk us through kind of like the ins and outs of maybe like the softwares and everything you're using that's actually helping you run the business, because it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Luckily, I'm very organized as a human, which is just really helpful. Yeah. So I rely on Google Calendar, like it's my ride or die. Yeah. Honeybook, which is where that's like my CRM. Yep. And then QuickBooks, of course, for accounting. And then I've hired a tax guy, so he can handle that. Again, I'm not great with math, so
good.
That's very helpful. And those would be like my 3 softwares that are helping me through the business. And so right when a client gets in, or right when I get a client, I will plan their entire content for the entire month, and I put it in my Google Calendar, and it's written, so I know exactly what I'm posting at what day, at what time. Yeah. So then that's super clear for me. So I can see it on my phone, I can see it in my planner, and then I schedule it all out on Instagram or TikTok or whatever the social platform they need.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Some good tips for people.
Being organized and getting those softwares and getting your systems dialed is really important. Why don't you, so you just talked about what that looks like post getting a sale. Why don't you talk us through your funnel? So you obviously mentioned social media. There's some word of mouth. You're getting some referrals as well. Talk to me about what happens when somebody actually reaches out to you. What is your process of taking them all the way to a sale, to the point of sale?
Yeah, I think urgency is really key, and that's what I found was helpful. So right when someone inquires or they text me or they DM me, I am trying to get on a call with them as soon as possible. If not, I'm replying to them as quickly as possible. So on my website, it's like, I will reply in 48 hours. It's usually like within an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get
I love that.
them to talk to me, because if they're interested, then I want to make sure they're still interested.
Get them while they're hot.
Yeah,
That's
get them
for
while
sure.
they're hot. So yeah, I try to connect with them as soon as possible. We jump on a call, like a strategy call, 15 minutes of what they need, what they're looking for, what their budget looks like. Then I send them a whole proposal and package, send that over, they approve it, they sign a contract, I get all their social logins, we'll have another call to like just go through all the specifics. And then we either plan a content day or figure out how they're gonna get content to me.
Yeah.
And then I run with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. You got it so streamlined. I love that you have like packages pretty much already laid out. It's not like you're trying to recreate the wheel every single time. And it's obviously really working for you. I
Yeah.
mean, you're at $13,000 a month right now. Maybe add a couple grand next week every single month. That's incredible, Madison. So it's really, really inspiring. I think it's inspiring for a lot of people that are just listening to you. Talk to us about, 8 weeks ago, what caused you and prompted you to want to join the mastermind? Like, what was the thing? Because I know you said, I've been thinking about this for 5 years. Like, what caused you to jump into actually really taking it seriously and jumping into the mastermind?
Yeah, I decided to join the mastermind because I knew I had no idea about how to run a business on my own. And watching you guys for 11 rounds prior, making all these people super successful, clearly everyone raves about it. The community, the knowledge, all of it. That was something I wanted to be a part of. And when talking again to my husband, he was like, you need to have like people helping you along the way, almost like a mentor in a sense. And so I told him about Creative Rise. He's like, you need to do that. So immediately, right when the applications dropped, I filled it out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is something I would really, really love to do and would be so beneficial for me and my business.
I love that. And we've got a lot of, there's a lot of features of the mastermind. There's like accountability groups, there's weekly calls, there's some kind of group one-on-one type of stuff, which doesn't make sense, but they're in the pod groups and we do a strategy call with you. We do video modules, all that kind of stuff. What pieces of those were the most helpful for you? Because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But what parts of the mastermind did you find the most value for creating? You created the growth, but like what helped assist you in creating that growth so quickly?
Yeah, really, of course, the community, which I feel like everyone says that it helps with motivation, just asking questions and having other people answer. Because
it's
everyone
like having
has
30 brains on your business.
Yeah.
Everyone has
awesome.
different experiences, different mistakes that they can speak into. So that was super, super helpful. But also the modules, I would watch them like multiple times in the week and learn so much. I had to take the Creative Rise notebook and another one to make sure I had enough notes because it was so valuable. I started from zero, so not knowing how to pitch, not knowing how to set up clients. It was just so incredibly helpful to make sure I had the right foundation as I was growing. So yeah, I would say those two.
That's cool.
What do you think was maybe one or two things that was the most valuable in those modules for you? Was it pitching? Was it sales calls? Was it something else? Like, what was something that you took away that you're like, wow, like I wrote a ton of notes about it, but it's the thing that I've seen really, really help my business?
Yeah, honestly, the pricing was a game changer because even still, I can find myself thinking, oh, that's too expensive. Like they don't need that. And I'm like, wait, no, this is valuable. Like I'm valuable to them. This is going to be really beneficial for them. It's an investment, but you'll see return and they'll see return. So really the pricing, I think, was like a huge one. And then the how to handle your money, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, the
That
6-figure
one,
money
yes,
management plan.
that, I have watched
It's
that
a game changer.
probably like 8 times.
Have you
No
set
exaggeration.
all your
Yes,
stuff up?
It's all set up.
Oh, amazing.
So I'm like now I'm dividing all the things when I get my money. But yeah, that has been like a game changer, not even for my business, but like for me and Tyler's future in general. Yeah.
I remember
Same
you
with
texted
us.
me. I think you texted me and you're like, I am having Tyler watching the 6-figure money management model with me
My
right
husband's
now.
watching this.
He's watching it with me, and we're going to set up our bank accounts in this certain way. And I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it's so fun to make money and then actually
Manage it
follow
well.
that plan and manage it and split it up into those different accounts for different purposes and to see those accounts grow and then to see, oh, I got this tax bill or I got this something else bill, and being like,
I
oh,
wanna
I actually
give to
have
something.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or my heart feels like I want to give to this thing, and I actually have money set aside for that. Like, it's an amazing thing. So I love that. Okay. Talk to me a little bit more about the pricing, because you said the pricing was very important. So when you get those thoughts of, I shouldn't price it this much, I should just cut, 50% off of it and send it to them, because we've all done that.
Yeah.
How do you fight that imposter syndrome that's telling you in the back of our heads, like, you're not worth that much money, or they're not going to hire you for this? How do you navigate that?
Yeah,
Especially in the beginning. It's easy when you have like a full calendar already, but especially in the beginning when you're actually really hungry to get clients. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, well, during the mastermind, I would text my accountability group, and I'm like, is this too much? And every single time they would say no, which is helpful to have like other voices in your mind. Of course, I'm going to think, oh, I feel bad, I need to give them a discount. They're like, don't do that. There's no reason. So almost having another person from the outside kind of say, no, that's great, your prices are awesome, and encouraging me in that way is helpful. And now I still definitely text my accountability group, but I'm in the community for grads, which is helpful too. So going through what people are saying there has been really helpful. I'm saying, hey, are these good prices? And they're higher than mine. And everyone's saying yes. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. This is good. I don't need to give them a discount.
There's so much power in like communal stuff, right? And being able to throw your idea, your pricing, your package, your offer against the wall or against a bunch of other people and have everybody beat it up. It's so encouraging to do that, because when you're in your own little echo chamber, you have no idea. I mean, you don't know which way's up, which way's down. You don't know if this is high, if that's low, if they're going to take it, if they're not. So important. If you're listening to the podcast and you're not, I'm like looking at this camera as I'm talking. If you're not somehow in some type of creative community, like, you need to get in one. Madison's story is a great testimony to that. It's so important to do so.
Yeah. What do you? Because Madison, you're a smart person. You're a driven person. You're an organized person, and I think everyone's impressed by hearing all of the value that you've brought to this podcast. You could have built a business by yourself, right? Like, you could have done it.
Yeah. Totally.
So what is the return on investment for you for being in the mastermind? Like, if you were to think of like, what did the mastermind do for you that maybe you wouldn't have done on your own? What's the return on investment for you specifically?
Yeah, I mean, without it, I probably would be making $2,000 a month instead of what I'm making
with 8
now.
clients.
Yeah, with the
At
same amount of
$900 a
clients.
month.
So I think there was so much value. Again, not knowing what I was getting myself into. Yes, I could have started a business in a sense, but having the right foundation, I would have not known how to pitch. I would have not known how to set up my bank accounts correctly. I would have not known that I needed the community to push me along, because a lot of people who aren't in the creative business, they don't really understand pricing like we do specifically.
Yeah.
So even like my dad, I love him to death. He's like, give him a discount. I'm like, I don't
No,
know
Dad.
if I should. And everyone else is saying, don't give him a discount. So having a community of people who are like-minded and in the similar industry was so incredibly helpful. So
awesome.
Return on investment was awesome. 100%. I would do it again. If I could, I would do it again.
We actually get asked that all the time. Grads are like, can we just like keep redoing it?
Yeah, I'm like, I'll go in all
that's
the
why
rounds.
there's the grad community. Yeah. So
Yes.
so return on investment for you, we actually market the mastermind by saying we're going to give you and teach you how to build a 6-figure business foundation in 6 weeks, which means a lot of people go on to build 6-figure businesses within 9 months, 14 months. Some people it takes like 2.5 years, because everyone's at a different point when they come in.
Yeah.
But we market the mastermind as we will give you everything you need to build a 6-figure foundation in 6 weeks. You actually built a 6-figure business in 6 weeks, because at the end of the 6 weeks, you were already doing $10,000 a month, which is outrageous, because that's 120 grand a year. So in 6 weeks, you actually built a $120,000 business, which is incredible. So from Christy and I, amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. What would you tell Madison now that you know everything you know? What would you tell Madison of maybe 10 weeks ago, right before you had started your business? What would be your advice to your previous self, or to anybody else that's like, I'm working a job that has been awesome, but I really want to see a transition into something new. I really want to work for myself. I want to be self-employed. I want to make more money. Speak to that person.
Yeah, if I was talking to myself 10 weeks ago, I would say, this is going to be a very hard few weeks, but it's going to be so fruitful and so worth it. Because looking back, it was a hard 6 weeks. But now I'm like, this is, of course, my job is going to be hard at times, but now there's so much freedom on the other side for years. I hope to do this for as long as, I don't know, as long as I live. Yeah. So 6 weeks is not that long to be in a hard season of no sleep and stress compared to years of working for myself and seeing the freedom on the other side. So I would say it's worth it. Just go through the gruesome time, however long that is, because it's always brighter on the other side once you go through it.
That's so cool. I love that piece of advice. And this is like our signature question that we ask at the end of every single podcast is, why is it worth it to break the creative struggle? Like the creative struggle of like, oh, I really want to do this, and but I don't really know how to do it, whatever. Why is it so worth it? Like you just talked about like, hey, go through the time, but what's so worth it on the other side for you?
Yeah, so worth it is being able to, again, make your own schedule. You have freedom in your finances. I can work wherever I want, really whenever I want. Of course, being responsible and making sure my work is done. But if there's something going on in Napa, I can get in a car and go into that thing. So yeah, there's just so much freedom of not being tied down. If you can't take this day off, you don't have PTO left or whatever that looks like. So yeah, there's just so much freedom, and it's just so worth it. Jump in, just get it done. And start your business. It's worth it. And sign up for the mastermind because it's also worth it.
PTO, that word just makes me
cringe. That PTO, I have like...
I've never had PTO because I've never been an
PTO.
employee. I've never actually worked for anybody. But I just hear PTO and I'm like, it's just such a crazy concept.
It's
that
terrible.
Like people can say you're not allowed to take more time off because you have to work, and I'm like, I've just never experienced that because I've always been self-employed. But
no, it is the worst.
I'm glad you've joined the club. You've joined the self-employed creator club and the six-figure club, which is amazing. So
that's awesome.
Madison, we're super proud of you.
Thank you.
Way to go. You are a great example of working really hard and doing it for like, let's just kill it for 8 weeks and work super, super hard. Double work, 2 full-time jobs, probably more than 2 full-time jobs, to be honest.
Yeah.
Both of those jobs were, your old job and you building this business were very taxing. Really, really cool story to see you just do it and then come out the other side and be making $13,000 a month in like 9 weeks, which is incredible. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you guys. It's because of you guys in Creative Rise, I would not be where I am today. So thank you guys.
And a lot of hard work on your part.
And a lot of your hard work.
Yeah, Madison, this has been great. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for being here. Yeah. That was such a great episode with Madison. And you guys, seriously, go follow her. I love watching the sourdough stuff. I don't even really do sourdough, to be honest, but honestly, I love that.
You tried.
So I tried.
Actually, we have one in our fridge, and it's dead, whatever that means. If you're into sourdough, you know what we mean.
I literally pulled it out and showed Madison, and I was like, can I resurrect this? She's like, I'll just give you some more. So she's the expert, but she's also the expert in socials, so make sure you go follow her. You'll get a ton of wisdom.
Yeah.
And if you are someone who's like, hey, I want to go through the same experience she had, I want a story like Madison for myself, again, round 13 is coming. March 2nd is when applications open. It starts March 16th, but if you want early access to that application, jump on that wait list. It's totally free. It's a no commitment wait list. And again, the mastermind is for service-based creatives who want to build a 6-figure foundation and to be able to do it in community. So they're not by themselves, that you're not dealing with the same mistakes over and over and over again, but you have this community and this support and this accountability to be able to push you forward in a much faster and healthier way.
Yeah, Madison talked about that a ton on the episode. So go follow Madison. All the links to check her out, to go follow her, will be in the description of this podcast. If you want to get on the wait list, all you got to do is go to the description of this podcast as well, and you'll see all the links there, or just go to creativerise.com and you'll see everything there. But guys, if you love this episode, share it with a friend. Number one, it's the best way for the show to grow and for us to reach more creatives just like you, which is why we do this. And second, it's a great way to help a friend. So share this episode if you know of somebody that this episode would benefit. And even better, leave us a 5-star or whatever star you want written review on Apple Podcasts. That's a really, really big contender to making sure this podcast continues to reach the people that it is built to reach, which is you guys, which is creative. So we'd super appreciate that. If you do that, hit us up with a DM and we will send one of you guys that leaves a written review this week. We'll send you guys maybe like $5 for some coffee on us. Maybe more like $8 or $10 because coffee's a little bit expensive. So anyways, guys, hope you have a great week. Thank you for being here. Go and crush it this week. Hopefully you're doing everything you can to get paid to do what you love, and we will see you next week.